Give me a grandchild, or I will bring in a woman who will.
Mama, please, I'm trying.
Trying? 5 years and still nothing. Do you know what people are saying about my family? Do you know what they whisper behind our backs?
I can't control everything.
You must try harder, Chioma. This is too much.
They called her barren, but the truth, it would shut them all up forever. For 5 years, Chioma had worn silence like a second skin. Not because she had nothing to say, but because every word she wanted to speak would break something. Her marriage, her peace, or her heart. Every morning, she woke before the sun. She swept the compound, cooked breakfast, packed her husband's lunch, and arranged the house like a woman trying to prove her worth in invisible ways. But no matter how spotless the house was, no matter how sweet her food tasted, there was always one thing missing: a child. And in her mother-in-law's eyes, that missing piece made Chioma incomplete. Mama Ifeanyi never hid her hatred. 5 years, she would shout across the compound. 5 years and nothing to show for it. What kind of woman are you? Neighbors would pause. Some pretended not to listen. Others leaned in, enjoying the drama. Chioma would stand there, head slightly bowed, hands trembling just enough to betray her calm. "I'm trying, Mama," she would say softly. But Mama Ifeanyi would laugh, a bitter mocking sound. "Trying or pretending? Maybe you deceived my son before he married you." At night, Chioma would cry quietly. Not loudly, not dramatically, just soft tears that soaked into her pillow. The kind no one hears, but that slowly drown a person from the inside. Beside her, her husband, Ifeanyi, would scroll through his phone or turn his back and sleep. He was not cruel, but he was not strong either. And sometimes, silence is the loudest betrayal. "Ifeanyi," Chioma whispered one night. "Yes," he replied without turning. Do you think I'm the problem?" He sighed. "Chioma, please, not tonight." That was his answer. Not yes, not no, just avoidance. And somehow, that hurt even more. Months turned into years. Church prayers, night vigils, anointing oils, fasting. Chioma did everything. She drank bitter herbal mixtures that made her stomach twist. She swallowed pills she didn't fully understand. She let strangers lay hands on her head and speak loud, urgent prayers. "Your womb will open," they declared. But her womb remained silent. One afternoon, everything changed. Chioma returned from the market earlier than expected. She heard voices in the living room, her mother-in-law's voice, and Ifeanyi's. She paused. Something in her chest tightened. "I can't keep waiting forever, Mama," Ifeanyi was saying. Chioma froze. Mama Ifeanyi's voice came, sharp and certain. "Exactly. You need another woman. This one has wasted enough of your time." Chioma's fingers slowly loosened. The bag of tomatoes fell to the ground. The sound echoed. Silence inside. Then footsteps. The door opened. Ifeanyi was there, shocked. "Chioma." But she didn't speak. She just looked at him. And in that moment, 5 years of love cracked. That night, she didn't cry. For the first time, she didn't cry. Instead, she sat on the edge of the bed, staring into nothing. "I went to the hospital today," she said quietly. Ifeanyi paused. "What?" "I didn't tell you because I wanted to be sure." Her voice was calm, too calm. I ran some tests. Ifeanyi sat up now. And? Chioma turned slowly to look at him. I'm not the problem. The room went still. What do you mean? He asked. Chioma reached into her bag and brought out an envelope. She handed it to him. His hands trembled as he opened it. His eyes scanned the paper. Once, twice, then he froze. Low sperm count. Severely low. Ifeanyi, Chioma said softly. The doctor said, the issue is from you. Silence. Heavy. Suffocating. Ifeanyi shook his head. No, that's not possible. Chioma didn't argue. I thought so too, she said gently. So I ran the test twice. The truth hung between them like a storm cloud. For 5 years, she had carried the blame, the insults, the shame, the humiliation, all for something that was never her fault. The next morning, Mama Ifeanyi arrived as usual, ready to fight, ready to insult. But this time, Chioma didn't bow her head. This time, she stood tall. Mama, please sit down, she said calmly. The older woman scoffed. I don't have time. Sit down. Something in Chioma's voice made her pause. Slowly, she sat. Ifeanyi stood nearby, silent, uneasy. Chioma placed the hospital report on the table. Mama, you've called me barren for 5 years. Mama Ifeanyi smirked. And is it a lie? Chioma slid the paper toward her. Read. Mama picked it up. Her eyes moved across the page, then stopped. Her expression changed. Confusion, shock, denial. This is fake, she muttered. Chioma didn't argue. It's not. She turned to Ifeanyi. Tell her. All eyes moved to him. He couldn't speak, but his silence said everything. Mama Ifeanyi dropped the paper. Her voice shook. No, my son cannot be the problem. But the truth doesn't bend to pride. For the first time, Chioma spoke without fear. I endured your insults. I accepted your curses. I carried shame that was not mine. Her voice trembled, but not with weakness, with strength, but no more. The compound was quiet. Neighbors sensed something had shifted, and indeed, something had. Days passed, then weeks. The insults stopped, but so did the warmth. Ifeanyi became distant, ashamed, broken in ways he didn't know how to fix. One evening, Chioma sat alone on the veranda, the sun setting slowly. Peaceful. For the first time in years, her heart felt light. Not because everything was perfect, but because she had finally told the truth. I'm sorry. She turned. Ifeanyi stood behind her. I should have stood by you. I let you suffer for something that was not your fault. Chioma looked at him. Really looked. I waited for you to defend me, she said quietly. He lowered his head. I was ashamed. And I wasn't too, she replied gently. Silence again, but this time it wasn't painful. It was honest. We can still try, Ifeanyi said softly. Treatment, adoption, anything. Chioma smiled faintly. Maybe, she said, but not because I need to prove anything. She stood up, strong, unshaken. I am not incomplete. And in that moment, Chioma stopped being the woman they pitied. She became the woman they respected. They called her barren, but in the end, she gave birth to something greater than a child. Her voice, her truth, her power.